All right, let's get right into it. What is the real difference between a professional gamer and just a passionate amateur? Well, today we're going to break down a pretty intense rivalry to see what really separates the best from the rest. It's all about skill, sure, but it's also about what's going on in their heads. And it all comes down to this one central idea, what we're calling the Broly-like temper tantrum. You've probably heard it called being tilted. But this isn't just about getting angry. Oh no, this is a complete and total strategic meltdown. If you can understand this, you can understand the huge gap between our two players. So, let's meet our fighters. In one corner, you've got the pro veteran. This guy is a machine, a master of the game. And in the other corner, we have the novice protagonist. He's got all the passion in the world, but he's also, well, let's just say he's a little emotionally unstable. And this chart right here, this pretty much says it all. The pro is all about calculation, efficiency, and data. He plays to win. Period. The novice, though, he's all about emotion. He's driven by passion. He wants the win to feel epic, like a scene straight out of the show. And that right there is his biggest weakness. Now, to really get what's happening in their big rematch, we have to rewind. We've got to go back to where this whole rivalry kicked off, their very first and very disastrous showdown. The scene was Planet Namek, or what was left of it. The pro picked Beerus, and the novice went with a classic early-era Goku. It wasn't even a contest. The pro knew about this one fatal flaw with Goku's Kaioken ability. It constantly drains your health. So basically, the novice was knocking himself out just by powering up. So yeah, it wasn't just a loss, it was a total demolition, a mechanical slaughter. The novice just could not handle being so completely outplayed, and he had his first major meltdown. In that moment, it pretty much poisoned the well. The pro wanted nothing to do with him after that, until now. Which brings us to the main event. You gotta understand, in a game this deep, the battle is often half won or lost before anyone even throws a punch. It starts right here, on the character select screen. Just look at the pros team. This isn't just a collection of cool characters, it's a perfectly oiled machine. You've got Beerus as the anchor, the guy you bring in last to seal the deal. You've got Whis, a defensive pivot who can auto-dodge literally everything. Turles is in there as a cheap disruptor to cause some early chaos. And Vegeta? He's a scaling striker, which just means he gets scarier and scarier the longer he stays alive. Every pick has a purpose. Now look at the novices team. It's like a walk down memory lane, right? All the classics. It's got a lot of heart, I'll give him that. But mechanically, oh, it's a mess. They're squishy, their best moves are easy to see coming, and they just don't have the raw power. This kind of team needs a surgeon's touch to win, a level of patience that, well, our novice just doesn't have. And the game tries to keep things fair with this thing called the destruction point system, but the pro completely games it. He picked a team of absolute god-tier characters. So from the second the match started loading, the novice was already fighting a losing battle against the numbers. The pro built a fortress, and the novice, well, he brought a slingshot. Okay, let's get to it. The rematch. It's going down on the land of the Kais, a huge, open map. It's the perfect playground for a tactical player like the pro, and a total nightmare for someone with nowhere to hide. We're gonna walk through the blow-by-blow of this takedown. You can really break this whole fight down into 4 key stages. This wasn't a back-and-forth battle, it was a systematic demolition. We're gonna go through each phase step by step to see exactly how the novice's entire game plan and his mental state just completely crumbled. So, phase 1 kicks off. Boom, the pro's Turles is out, and in less than a minute, Krillin is gone. Didn't land a single hit. While the pro is calmly popping a stat boost, the novice is just mashing his defensive moves, wasting all of his resources on nothing. The first crack in the foundation appears. Okay, now this is where it gets just genius and a little cruel. The pro brings in Whis, and then does nothing. He just stands there, perfectly still. The novice, already freaking out, rushes in throwing everything he has, and Whis' auto-dodge just passively avoids every single attack. The pro isn't even playing anymore, he's playing the player, and it is working. And because the novice is completely off his game now, totally tilted, he's not putting on any pressure, this is the opening the pro was waiting for. He brings in Vegeta and just starts powering up, for free. Super Saiyan God, all the way to blue, with no one stopping him. The novice finally throws out a desperate ultimate move, and the pro just sidesteps it. Easy. And here we are, the final collapse. The novice's strategy is gone. It's just raw, mindless button mashing. The pro brings in his closer, Beerus, who calmly waits for an opening and ends it all with his Hakai ability. And as his character is literally erased from existence, the novice slams down the controller and disconnects. Game over. Rage quit. The end. So we saw what went down, but the real question is why? Why was this such a blowout? It's about way more than just picking the right characters. It's about behavior, it's about mechanics, and it's about a complete failure to understand how the game is actually played. And these are the textbook signs of that Broly state we were talking about. The controller slamming, yelling that the game is broken, it's all just a way to avoid facing the reality of the skill gap. And here's the kicker. Every single one of these things makes it impossible to think straight, let alone play at a high level. First big mechanical mistake. He completely fails to understand a key defensive mechanic in the game, called perception. The pro uses it as bait, and the novice falls for it every single time. Instead of thinking, hey, maybe I should try something else, he just keeps mashing, running right into the trap over and over and over again. Next up, resource management, or, well, the total lack of it. Those skill points, your SP bar, that's your get-out-of-jail-free card. The pro saves his like a lifeline. The novice, he blows it all on flashy super moves that look cool but do almost nothing. So when he's finally caught in a real combo, he's got nothing left in the tank. No escape. And this one really says it all. It's how they think about transformations. For the novice, turning Super Saiyan is just about looking awesome. It's an aesthetic choice. For the pro, it's a weapon. It's a strategic tool you use at the perfect moment to gain a crucial advantage. The novice is just playing for the highlight reel. So, after all that, after watching that complete and total breakdown, what's the big takeaway here? What did we learn from this absolute beatdown on the land of the Kais? It really all boils down to this simple and kind of brutal truth. Passion is awesome. It's what gets you interested in the first place. But in a competitive game this complex, passion will never, ever be a substitute for practice, study, and discipline. The game doesn't care how much you love the characters, it only responds to skill. Which leaves us with one last thing to think about. Is our novice just stuck? Is he doomed to repeat this cycle of getting hyped, getting destroyed, and then melting down? Or is it actually possible for a player to rewire how they think, to go from being all about passion to being all about discipline? That is the real question.